subconsciously, we know we all want more. I hope now, at least by this time, 40 minutes into the call, we all are like, yes, it's the bread. It's not the time. It's not the vacation. It's not the not going back and forth to work. That's not really what I want. What I really want is the money so I can use the time that I already have differently, so that I can spend the time with the family that I already have differently, so that I can make the decision to leave the job that I always could have but never had the money to do so. Hopefully now you realize consciously that it's the money. But I want to tell you about a subconscious situation that's taking place. I want to tell you about a psychological construct that was planted in you very deeply, very early. It's hard to overcome that. It's hard to overcome that. That's called human development. So we're talking about stages of human development. And most of the things that we do as adults, we were programmed to do since like 7 years old. Before 7 years old, all of the things that we do were basically preset. There are some things that we can overcome, but most of the values, most of the morals, most of the principles, most of the beliefs that we act on were planted there when we were very young, when our subconscious was very fertile. And we didn't have our defensive mechanism up yet, so we accepted whatever came in. You can't win in business or branding or business if you're not thinking bottom line. It's not business. If you're not thinking about money, you're not thinking about business. If all you're thinking about is value and impact, then that's a nonprofit model or charity model. Even churches, even religious institutes who talk value, morals, principles, go spend a day up in there and see if they're not thinking bottom line. They wouldn't have the church if they didn't think bottom line. There would be no building for you to congregate if there was no bottom line. All of the different events and all of the different trips and all of the there would be none of it if there was no bottom line. Bottom line in business is profits, income, and influence, affluence. If you are consciously, now this is the piece, if you are consciously thinking cash flow and revenue, like a lot of people do when they start getting coaching, when they start getting business minded, when they start going to college, when they start entering the job force and seeing that there are some things that don't agree with where they want to go, they begin to consciously start thinking about cash flow and revenue. They say, I want this. I tell them to set a goal for the month. They set a goal for the month. I say, set a goal for the year. They set a goal for the year. But as soon as they set that number, their subconscious belief system goes to work and it fights against them. So if any of you have ever been on a call with me and we talked about your prices, and when I said add a 0 to it, you kind of cringed. You kind of cringed and wasn't sure. When I say numbers like $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, and it's like, if it's painful for you to hear those numbers, if it's painful, if it's all right for you to hear me say those numbers in regards to something like my business, but when I say it in regards to you and your business, it's like, oh, well, that just won't work for me or my business model, or I don't want to charge them. You know you want the money. You know you want the ROI. You know in order to have more impact, or in order to spend more time, in order to answer all of the things that you want, you need the bread, but you can't ask for it. That's because there's a subconscious belief system that is fighting against your conscious efforts. So you can build websites, you can prospect, you can go speak, you can do all of those things. But if your subconscious belief system is fighting against your conscious efforts, if you're not writing this, there's a problem. If your subconscious belief system is fighting against your conscious efforts, your destiny is going to be cut off. Your destiny is going to be cut off. Let me ask you this. How many times did you hear a voice when you were doing something wrong that told you you shouldn't be doing it? And you still did it anyway and you got negative results. You got the results that you knew you would get on a subconscious level. Something said to you, don't do it. But consciously, you overrode your subconscious and did it anyway. And you got smacked for it. Life kind of roughed you up and put you in the corner for a little while, put you on timeout for it. That's because your subconscious belief system knows more than your conscious does. So we must strive against conditioning that was planted in us, most likely by our parents, who didn't want to see us hurt. They weren't bad people. They didn't do it to cripple us. They didn't do it to injure us or have us 50 and trying to figure it out, 45 and trying to make sense of it all. But the bank account and credit score that both need help. That wasn't the reason why they did it. They did it to protect us, actually, from what they saw as cold, or what they saw as a cold, cruel, dangerous, and painful world. They were actually trying to help us on a conscious level, but they were actually hurting us on a subconscious level. Is there anyone that doesn't agree with this? Does everybody agree with this? Give me something in the chat. Tell me yes, to put a number up there. Fantastic. Now, this is what I want you to do. I want you to use your pen, and I want you to write down 3 beliefs, 3 negative beliefs about money that you learned. Who taught you those 3? Where did you get them? What are they? 3 negative beliefs.